ça nous fait nous interroger sur une question fondamentale et qui est au cœur de ces questions qu'on se pose aujourd'hui, c'est sur la responsabilité de l'entreprise, l'engagement de l'entreprise pour avoir un impact positif. Et je voudrais, pour parler de ça, accueillir un grand monsieur. C'est un homme de lettres, c'est un homme de radio, c'est un homme du petit écran. Vous avez pu le voir dans des films, l'écouter à la radio puisqu'il a co-animé pendant plus de 13 ans les ateliers du numérique sur BFM Business. Et à côté de ça, quand même, c'est le directeur de l'engagement d'entreprise et membre du comité exécutif de BNP Paribas. C'est-à-dire que c'est une direction qui a été créée spécialement pour définir et mettre en œuvre le projet de BNP Paribas à destination de la société civile. Et aujourd'hui, cette direction, c'est plus de 200 personnes qui sont déployées sur 73 pays. Et leur rôle, c'est de réussir à combiner les compétences et l'efficacité économique de tous les métiers de l'entreprise avec un impact positif sur la société. Pour en parler, je vous demande d'accueillir chaleureusement Monsieur Antoine Sire. Merci.
Merci. Good morning. So, we are talking about being innovative and being human. This morning, I just want to focus on how we can cooperate to reach this goal, how we can make work together, people who are not used to work together, and this can change a lot of things. At BNP Paribas, we are a bank, so people usually don't like banks. But at one moment, one question is what we are, and we are mainly two things. People believe that we are money, but we are mainly two things. We are mainly technology, because, for example, we are one of the top 10 clients of IBM in the world, which is normal because we are in 76 countries. But we are mainly human. We are mainly human because we are 200,000 employees, and we work for individuals, we work for companies, we work for small businesses, for associations, and at one moment we work for people and for countries. And if you see what happened in 2015, this year was the year of the COP21, but this year was also the year of unprecedented migrations. And finally, this year was also the year when we started to see a lot of election results or geopolitical phenomena we do not always understand. For example, if you just take the Brexit in the UK, you have the richest region of Europe, which is London, and 6 of the 10 poorest regions of Europe, which are also located in UK. So put this together and you get the Brexit. So we are in this situation, and we can see that basically 3 worries of the world have become mainstream. The worry for the planet, the worry for the territory, and the worries for inequality between people. And the next challenge is to address those 3 worries. Technology is a fantastic tool that will allow us to address the challenge, but the problem is a challenge. And we, as a bank, we are people working for people, so we have to, this challenge is mainstream among the people, it has to become mainstream in our strategy. So, first of all, we are bankers, so we need sometimes to have, I would say, guidelines. We are not always very imaginative, and we decided something simple, that this guideline would be the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. It's simple. It's about education, it's about water, it's about ecology, it's about human development, and we decided to put those Sustainable Development Goals in our corporate platform and to have KPIs, to have objectives that are coming from those 17 SDGs and that we put beside our financial objectives. So I will not tell you how we do this on a large scale because we will run out of time, and I just prefer to focus on something we discovered, is that you can change a lot of things by putting people around the table to cooperate and to cooperate for specific goals, having everybody doing his business and cooperating for specific goals. I give an example, which is what we are doing with the United Nations. At one moment, the guys of the United Nations came to see some bankers and say, okay, we now have huge problems to combine transformation of agriculture, of ecology, and development in emerging countries. We need to finance this with the largest money in the world, and the largest money in the world is the money of the, I would say, developed people in the rich countries who are preparing their pension, their retirement. Pension funds are the rich and insurance companies. We are here in an event organized with Allianz. If you take all the pension funds and the life insurance companies, you get to the largest amounts in the world. So how can we do that this large amount, which is mainly aimed to pay pensions to the people and who has to be used with caution, how can we do that this money goes to transforming programs that will, at the end of the day, transform the life of people, transform the future of the planet, and transform the life of people who are small farmers in emerging countries? This was the question of the United Nations. And they put everybody around the table. They put a bank, BNP Paribas, they put an NGO, the WWF, they put a corporate, Michelin, and at the end of the day, they also put pension funds and multilateral development banks. And we say, okay, just see a project that we can do together and that can bring local solutions. And we did this in Indonesia with a plantation of rubber of 88,000 hectares, so it's a huge plantation, which is a zone between a crowded urban zone and a natural area. So it is needed to have an agricultural zone between those two areas to create to ensure biodiversity, to make a place which is okay for the animals, and to have a biodiversity, I would say, shelter. And so it was decided to create a rubber plantation, caoutchouc, of 88,000 hectares. And this rubber plantation will both provide job to 16,000 people, will help restore biodiversity, and will provide Michelin with rubber that has been done with very sustainable conditions, protecting the environment, protecting with good social, I would say, standards, and good environmental standards. And this was possible because everybody was around the table, NGOs, banks, corporates, everybody was around the table doing his job. Now we are addressing a new challenge, which is in India. The government of Andhra Pradesh, which is a country of 50 million inhabitants, with a land that has been ruined by chemical pesticides and fertilizers. So they need agroecology, and they want to apply to their 6 million farmers a program which will be an agroecology program with no pesticides, no chemical fertilizers, and it relies on a very new technology because it's natural farming, but it's natural farming which is controlled by drones, which is something really transforming, and they need to fund the program to make it. Already, they have 500,000 farmers who are working under this program, and it is working very well. So the question is how we find the way to scale it up to 6 million farmers. They put, again, around the table a lot of people. Everybody is doing his job, but at the end of the day, what we all want is to have those farmers to be able to do natural farming. Sometimes the same coalitions can start from the technology. I give you just an example. We have a company which is a BNP Paribas client in France called KEYNOTE Computing, and this company builds radiators to heat locations, but the heat is produced by computer calculation, which means that when you are a company and when you need calculations, you can send them the calculations, and the calculations are done by the radiators, which are at the same time computer. So there is only one invoice, because it's the company who pays the invoice, so, and there is only one ecological footprint, because with two actions, heating and calculating, you need only one footprint. So we put again people around the table. You have a social housing company in Bordeaux, which works with KEYNOTE, which works with us, and at the end of the day, our IT calculations are going to provide free heating for the people who live in a social housing in Bordeaux. And it's another example of how we can cooperate and to find new solutions. And this is what I wanted to focus on for you this morning. Thank you for your attention.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, Antoine Sire, pour ces exemples très concrets qui montrent l'engagement sociétal du groupe à travers le monde. Donc merci beaucoup pour cet impact positif que vous avez. Dans le format de Day One, comme l'a dit Denis Jacquet en introduction, il y a des moments comme ça qui sont comme les conversations qu'on a eues tout à l'heure avec un homme d'église, un homme de science. Et là, il y a un petit moment aussi, c'est avec un jeune entrepreneur, un jeune start-upper qui est brillant, qui est fondateur de la société qui s'appelle Algodrone, mais sa plus grande passion, et ce pourquoi il est le plus fier, c'est de développer des algorithmes pour détecter des maladies, des algorithmes pour améliorer notre santé. Je vous demande d'accueillir William Elong qui va vous poser une question. William?
Hello, sir.
Hi again, William. Actually, it's just like if we met here, but we discussed backstage.
A lot. So thank you a lot for your intervention. I just have one question. During all those programs, financing, institution, all these initiatives, one of the main issues is the processing. How do you make sure that the timing between the moment when you start the program and the moment when the money reaches your target is short?
It's not short for the moment, because it's a very good question, because it's not short for the moment. It's research. We have to make work to the basic idea is to say that doing things for the people and for the planet has now become so urgent that we need now to take the problem and the goal and work all together. And what is very interesting is that you find very soon people in all organizations that want to work together. And if it's just having their agreement, it's done in 5 minutes. We can have here the guy of the United Nations, Satya Tripathi, who is incredible. We can have here the global head of WWF, Pavan Sugdev, who is incredible. So everybody works. But at the moment, you need to make sure that this enters in the technology, but also in the job that is done by everybody. And it needs a lot of time to be scaled up. For example, the zero-budget natural farming, it relies on a technique which is a very strong discipline, because it's not agriculture of the 14th century. It's a very modern agriculture. So you need to have not only the technology, but also the process, which very interestingly relies a lot on the women, which is the process to make sure that all the 6 million farmers respect the discipline. So it's very challenging in terms of time, because we have to combine the time of the technology, the time of having all the people ready to deploy new ways of working, and the time, it's unfortunate to say this, but it's a real life, the time of bureaucracy.
Oh,
and
of course.
and from where comes the time from bureaucracy? It comes from the fact that if you want to do such transactions, they have, for example, to be absolutely excellent in terms of anti-corruption. They need to have a very good compliance. They need to have very good, we need, for example, as a bank, we need to check that all the standards in terms of human rights, social disciplines are respected, which is the case, but in countries where the standards are different. But okay, we have 10,000 people in India, so we know the standards, but we have to, or we are also in Indonesia, but in each country, you have to adapt and to understand. You want to have the best practice of the country, but you have to understand clearly what is the best practice of the country. So it's very difficult, and it goes to a question. Very often people tell me, what can really make the people change, and what can really make them look for solutions that are better for the people? Is it money? Yes, it's money, because money is time. Time is money, and money is time. Because at the end of the day, doing things that are good for the people, it's more difficult than not paying attention to the people. People, if they don't pay attention, they just do their job. They just do the routine. And it's very easy. Paying attention to the people, it's very rewarding from a human point of view, and it's rewarding because you know that if you are doing this, you let a better legacy. But in terms of work, it's certainly more difficult, because it helps, it needs you to pay attention to a much larger number of things. So it's the challenge is time. But what is important, and this event is a good example of this, is that the people have the goodwill to work together to see where we want to go. And once we know exactly where we want to go, we do all the efforts needed to go there.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
So much. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup pour cet échange.